lived in America for a year, lived in Australia 2 years at different times, 1 year. I think that great power competition is playing out within the Pacific. Again, our policy documents talk about that. And so people are watching that area. But I think the other thing I would say, and you alluded to this, we've got great relationships within the Pacific. We are from and of the Pacific ourselves. And I'm really proud of those relationships we have with our Pacific partners and how we support each other and how we work together. And again, I spoke earlier about diversity of thought. That to me is really important. And through the training that we do, so we do exercises, training, activities throughout the Pacific, just as Pacific Islanders do here as well. And we really learn from each other, and we can grow how we do things through our interoperability, but also just learning from each other. It's a great environment to be in. The bureaucracy in regard to getting something done, once it's in train, they don't necessarily have the It's not about us going, oh hey, here's something that we can give you. It's very much we work in a partnership, and I would like to think the relationships we have are at that level now that we can be really frank with each other. And as I mentioned last week, was at a symposium in Australia and connected with a number of our Pacific partners. And the feedback we get from them is great, right? So what is it that they're after? What's landing? What do we need to pull back? It's very much a partnership approach. Yeah, even in Australia, they're like, oh no, our public don't support us. It's like, yeah, they do. I don't think I've had specific feedback since I've been in this role, noting I've only been in it for a short period. But I think as a general sort of thing, the offers of help. So one of the things we are hearing from some of the Pacific nations is lots of people offering help, but it's not necessarily the help they need, which goes back to that point I said about how to listen to them. It's at their pace, what they need, not us forcing things on them. So that may be one of those indications of those that we see. But it's a great one to be able to share with them as well. Yeah. And what happens in the Pacific impacts us. It is our neighbourhood, our whānau, that's really important to us. And I think because right now those two things I mentioned in regard to, so firstly the great power competition playing out in the Pacific, but also climate change. You're going to have an increase not only in the frequency of climate change, but also the scale of what's occurring is at bigger levels. And anything that happens in the Pacific impacts us. So, of course, we're very interested and really supportive of how we can help each other. I understand what he does, so when you get asked to do something, there's none of this, well, why do you have to do that? I think for me it's been a combination of things, but then I also believe everybody has their own obstacle and challenges, right? And they'll be at different times and different levels, and no one is necessarily worse off than another. But certainly when I joined, I couldn't join the time when I joined, a woman couldn't join all the corps that we have, all different arms that we have. So that's changed now. So, things have changed as I've come through. I've been really fortunate, one of the things I love about our Army is I've been able to do the same training as my peers. And I've had the same opportunities as my peers. And I've been really fortunate that sometimes in my career, I've actually had, and it was a male because there weren't many females of senior to me, who's advocated for me, so has given me opportunities. What they call war college, went to China, Japan,